Busy time in Bobcat athletics, and before it all, we met at Donato's on Monday night in Athens for the Christian Show on our radio network, and this is the Christian Show cut up on Bobcat TV. Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Eisenstein, the voice of the Ohio Bobcats. Ohio men's basketball is 7-2 to start off the season. UMass comes to town on Wednesday night. That's the first non-conference opponent visiting the Convocation Center that's ranked since 1997 when Kentucky was here. We're also getting set for Bobcat football in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl. So on Monday night, we visited with head coach Jim Christian of Bobcat basketball and head coach Frank Solich of Bobcat football. Here is the Christian and Solich show cut up. Biggest thing that you took away from your effort on Saturday was pretty impressive, but your thoughts positively or negatively?
Always positive. You know, that's a hard game to play. Not Alabama A&M, but the game coming out of final exams. I don't think, a lot of people don't understand how difficult that is. They've been taxed all week mentally, getting their stuff together. There's a lot of stress involved, a lot of late nights involved. And then we really don't practice. We practice about maybe 1 hour, a couple days, because we got to give them a lot of time off to turn in papers, do the stuff they have to do. So historically, and if you look around the country, you see the scores, the surprise games of the year usually happen coming out of final exams. And especially, we know last year, Winthrop was coming out of final exam. So I think that the thing I was most impressed with was I thought we played pretty hard, being the fact that we hadn't played in a week and we were coming out of exams. That was something moving forward I think we could really help our basketball team.
If you expect points out of Maurice Endor, and you expect points out of your guys that you have on the floor, but the number of points that you got from Bean Willis, from TJ Hall, and from the rest of your bench, talk about why the game was conducive to them being able to score like that for you, and what that does positively for you when you don't have the points that you normally get out of Nick Kellogg and Stevie Taylor.
Well, I think, again, it's they're all capable of doing that. It's just a matter of finding consistency. I think that's the hardest thing for players. It's the hardest thing for teams is find consistent scoring or what you're going to do well every single night. And we haven't really found that rhythm from everybody yet, so we're going to have to do it by numbers. So when one guy's not scoring well, then somebody else has to pick up the slack. And, we've done a good job of that. The only game we didn't do that was Oakland, where, it seemed like 4 or 5 guys all had a bad night on the same night. So that's the kind of team we have to be, because I don't know if we have that go-to scorer. Guy that's going to be able to get us 18, 20, 25 points a night, which is fine. Like we talk about all the time, I'm more concerned with the quality of shot that we're getting than who's taking it.
When you get into the X's and O's standpoint, you're a run-first guy. Establishing the run has been incredibly important for you. East Carolina limited a number of teams to sub 100 yards rushing this season, right around 100 yards or 120 yards. They're the best defensive team against the run in Conference USA and one of the best in the country. What does that do for your game plan, and how do you try to establish the run against them?
Yeah, you are right. You look at them statistically on both sides of the ball. In many categories, they are up there very high in the country. And so stopping the rush has been something they've been able to do very well. They change out between a 4-man front and a 3-man front. Their people there in the interior line are really big, strong, physical people, and they got good quickness for their size. And there's a reason why a lot of teams have not been able to run the ball against them, and that's because they've got really good personnel. We're going to certainly attempt to run the ball, but we're not going to try to beat a dead horse either. We'll see how it works. Obviously, we're capable of doing a good job in throwing the football, and it may end up that's something that we'll have to do a lot of this game, and we'll just see how the game plays out. But we're prepared to have a multiple game plan. Hopefully it'll work.
Your thoughts on what you see from UMass on tape?
A lot what you just went over. I think they have great length. They have a great leader in Chaz at the point, who's been through a lot of games, plays with a lot of confidence, and creates so many plays. Kind of DJ Cooper type of player in terms of he wants the ball in big moments. He wants to make plays. He makes other guys better. And then Lalline is probably the most physically imposing guy we'll see all year. And we're going to see some great players, but he's nobody with his interior strength, size. We see some guys who are just as strong, just as good, but not as big. He's 6'10", 260 pounds. He's a threat every time down the floor. And then a bunch of 6'9" interchangeable parts who all can rebound. Phenomenal offensive rebound team, phenomenal in transition. They're very good.
Their length is incredibly impressive. So how do you counter against that on the offensive end first?
You just got to make them guard. You can't come down and jack up quick shots. You got to make sure you make them work and earn what you get. And and just do what we do. We play a certain way, and we have to execute. If you execute, you get the shots you want, and you don't beat good teams unless you make shots. You don't beat good teams if you turn the ball over. You know, these games, turnovers become layups because they're so athletic and so good. So we've got to take care of the basketball. Then you got to play. We got to play the good players on our team. Got to come to play because you don't beat a team like that unless your best players play a good game.
On the air on Wednesday night from the Convocation Center at 6:30 for a tip at 7 o'clock as Ohio takes on UMass. Beef O'Brady's Bowl Live comes up on Sunday from Tampa, St. Petersburg, Florida. We're on the network from 6 until 7 o'clock. And then Bobcat football takes on East Carolina in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl on Monday, December the 23rd. Our airtime comes at 1 with the kick at 2. It's also on ESPN. That will do it for the Christian Show Cut Up from Donato's in Athens. This is Bobcat TV.